This week's your final chance to spot some gorgeous fall flowers in bloom at the Como Conservatory in St. Paul.
So after Thanksgiving, they'll be swapping things out for their holiday show. And garden guy Dale Kay is live. He's in the sunken garden. It's gorgeous with a look at the beautiful blooms. We can just kind of take those, and obviously a lot of poinsettias. We can expect those.
That's right. That'll be the holiday flower show coming up here in a little bit. But take it all in. I'll take a little step back. Look how wonderful. Do you miss your garden already? It's so bleak, so dreary, so cloudy, a little bit drizzly outside. So a welcome respite right here, as you mentioned, in the sunken garden. Of course, we're here at Como Zoo and Conservatory Live. Joining us this morning, Ariel Dressler. She's the senior horticulturalist here. So tell me a little bit about the fall flower show, some of the inspiration maybe.
So part 2 is full of warm colors. We had 2 fall flower shows, so this is the second one. First one was tons of purples and pinks, a much cooler color palette. And that one was reminiscent of a coral reef. And you still can see some elements of that here today. But we wanted to transition as the days got shorter and the temperatures dropped to a warmer color palette for November. So we switched it all up, and you can see lots of bright yellows and oranges here today.
All right, I want to get to that coral reef thing here.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it switches out twice. That's unlike any other show. Why do you switch out the fall one twice?
We have a rapid change because we heavily rely on chrysanthemums for our fall flower show. And to keep them freshest, we like to bring in a second batch after 4 weeks.
Perfect. So, and we've got a wonderful little chrysanthemum there, and the marigolds. Tell me a little bit about why those two.
Well, in November, we have a lot of community members celebrating Dia de los Muertos, and we wanted to transition to a color palette inspired by that celebration. So you'll see a lot of marigolds in this show. We have 4 varieties, as well as chile peppers and some really tall celosia. And
that all revolves around the Day of the Dead, correct?
Yes.
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 Okay, just like every good landscape has a plan, how far in advance do you plan these flower shows, and how many flower shows a year?
We have 6 flower shows a year, and we start about a year in advance. That allows us to source material. A lot of it is done in-house from seed. The chrysanthemums that we use for the fall flower show, we order them in about a month for next year, and then we plan on receiving those in the summer, and then grow them in our greenhouses adjacent to the conservatory until they're ready for display.
Okay, now so this space, it's very kind of like boxed and square, and usually that you see that on either side. I've got to say, Ariel, you've thrown just about everything but the kitchen sink. I mean, you literally have everything but the kitchen sink in this landscape. Annuals, houseplants, some really cool stuff. Tell me a little bit, show us the theme and what you all have in here, because it's so cool.
Yes, we're so lucky we can rely on our collections material as well as those annuals that we grow for these shows. So we have some collection specimen of our succulents. This is a massive jade plant, and maybe some of you viewers at home have one like this, but years and years to get a plant that size. So not something we could produce in 1 year for our fall flower show. So we pulled those things in, as well as these are seed-grown chile peppers. And then we've got perennials. Maybe people recognize this is Heuchera Forever Red. And then back to our marigolds. This is a really tall variety called Antigua Orange. And then we have our brassicas. Here we have an ornamental kale called Nagoya Red. And then back to tropical. So fall displays outside will not be able to include these beautiful stingray alocasia.
And this, I guess the stingray kind of goes back to that whole, if you were to stand up high and look down, it's supposed to resemble a coral reef, is that right?
That's right.
So the jade and I want to show this place. This actually has the common name stingray because of that kind of large tail there. If you can imagine a stingray, or what are those, that other bigger, what's that big one called?
Yeah,
manta ray, or I don't know, whatever those big sea creatures are supposed to look like those.
And this is especially fun for us here at the Marjorie McNeely Conservatory because we have the zoo right next door, and we do have stingrays in our Tropical Encounters exhibit. So we thought that was a fun plant-animal relationship to feature here.
Okay, fun, very fun. So we got some grasses, and what else is on display?
This was one of my favorites. I just wanted to make sure we got a view of this. This is that really tall celosia that we mentioned earlier. Not only is the flower so colorful, but those stems really light up when you get the sun streaming in the windows.
And that also looks like coral, if you can see that kind of a close-up. If you were out in the beautiful crystal blue waters of the Pacific or the Atlantic, there you go, some beautiful coral there. So the show runs through the 26th. We talked a little bit about how it switches to holiday. What's that transition look like?
We have a team of volunteers and staff that arrive Monday morning, and they remove all of this material in the first 3 hours of the day, and then we start prepping the beds for replanting.
And you must have one of the luckiest jobs on the earth because you're always kind of in this beautiful space. You're growing everything here for the flower shows too, correct, for the most part?
Correct, yeah. We've got a greenhouse full of poinsettias in the wings, just ready to go.
There you go, perfect. Now, I should mention also that this beautiful complex is open Thanksgiving Day. So if you've got the family coming in town, you don't know what to do with them, maybe you want to get outside, get a little exercise, walk around a little bit, walk off some of those carbs from the stuffing, you can come here, relax, and enjoy all the flourishing blooms and everything else that St. Paul has to offer. With that, we send it back to you.
Yeah, okay.
Beautiful.
It's nice to see those flowers. And then, you know, we see a lot of poinsettias, and now we'll see these other beautiful blooms.
Yeah, I like that too because it's going to get cold this weekend, and it's always toasty and warm in there.
It is.
Dale, thank you.